Hello friends. It is often said that mothers and children have an invisible connection that science cannot explain. Maternal love is considered unconditional. Some people may say that it is a myth, but anyway, our story today is the best proof of this theory. Wade and David were a young couple who lived in total harmony and understanding. A few months after they met, they realized they were made for each other and had a beautiful small wedding. Married life was great, and the couple enjoyed every day they spent together. The only problem overshadowing their family's happiness was their inability to get pregnant. Anyway, the couple did not lose hope and believed that a miracle would happen soon. One day, I realized that there was something wrong with my body. My eating and habits had changed and I wanted to sleep all the time. I suspected that I could be pregnant, but I didn't want to give my husband any news beforehand without being sure. So, I decided to take the test alone. That night, I couldn't believe what I saw, but the test came back positive. I waited for David to come home from work that night and surprised him with the incredible news. The man was over the moon, and then we did tests. The doctors said we were going to have twins. From then on, everything went normally. The couple was looking forward to meeting their babies. The pregnancy was going well, and they were getting ready for the birth of their little ones. Life looked great at the time, but things quickly got worse when Kate was 27 weeks pregnant. She started having contractions. Luckily, she was home with her husband at the time, so without wasting a minute, one day, I realized that there was something wrong with my body. My eating and habits had changed, and I felt tired all the time. I suspected that I could be pregnant, but I didn't want to give my husband any news beforehand without being sure. So, I decided to take the test alone. That night, I couldn't believe what I saw, but the test came back positive. When David came home from work that night, Kate surprised him with the incredible news. The man was over the moon, and then they did tests. The doctors said they were going to have twins. From then on, everything went normally. The couple was looking forward to meeting their babies. The pregnancy was going well, and they were getting ready for the birth of their little ones. Life looked great at the time. But things quickly got worse when Kate was 27 weeks pregnant. She started having contractions. Luckily, she was home with her wife at the time. So, without wasting a minute, I quickly put her in the back seat of the car and took her to the hospital. The doctors tried to stop the contractions, but they couldn't. Within a few hours later, two beautiful children were born, a boy and a girl. Of course, the babies were weak and small, so they were taken to the intensive care unit immediately after birth. The girl, M, turned out to be completely healthy, but the boy, James, was not. The doctors tried to resuscitate him. They fought with all their might for the baby's life, but their efforts were in vain. After half an hour of resuscitation, the doctors set the time of death. The doctors entered Kate's room and sat on the edge of the bed. Kate was waiting for news of the children. She was extremely worried because she understood perfectly. The doctor asked if they had already chosen a name for their boy, and they said the name was James. He wiped his forehead, worse than me. I've heard in all my life. So unfortunately, James didn't resist. We did all we could, but medicine is powerless here. Please accept our condolences, the doctor said. David was at the doctor's side at the time and collapsed on the bed in tears, and Kate seemed unable to accept the news. She kept saying no, that can't be true, but the doctors were 100% sure. Kate was in a panic and kept saying that other doctors heard her screaming and came running to help her calm down. She said she couldn't believe what had happened. Then, the doctors had no choice but to allow the desperate woman to hold her child. I remember you holding the baby, my son James. He was so cold and couldn't breathe, and I just wanted to keep him warm. We had waited so much for him, I just couldn't understand why he left us so soon. So, I had another crazy idea. I told my husband to take off his shirt and lay next to me on the bed. People saw it as the agony of a mother who had just lost her child. Anyway, David was surprised, but he did as I asked. The baby was placed, and we decided to warm our baby up with our warmth. We were trying to convince him to stay. We explained his name, that he had a twin brother to look after, and we just talked to him honestly. I just spoke and talked, and the doctors just stood there with their heads down as we tried everything. We told him how much we loved him. My husband supported me, though he understood it was too late. That's what everyone thought. In a few minutes, the doctors would take him away. But literally, in the moment later, something happened that no one expected. A miracle. Little James breathed almost imperceptibly, and a few more minutes later, he began to breathe and grabbed his father David's finger. The doctors, who had declared the boy dead, were astonished. They could not believe the baby had returned to life. After hugging his parents, the doctors said it was simply impossible. They couldn't explain how and why the baby started breathing. James literally came back to life in front of them, and the doctors said they had never seen such a miracle happen. So, adding probably not, it could have happened without the love and hope of the mother and her refusal to accept the terrible news. I am sure if Kate had not demanded to hold her son, he would never have survived. And no matter how strange it may appear now, he has heard our prayers. The twins born at 27 weeks gained weight quickly and soon were strong enough to be discharged. It's been 5 years since that day, and the kids are fine. Not long ago, the family got even bigger. The twins now have a younger son. They worked on him for more than half an hour, but it was his mother's prayer and care that brought him back to life. The hospital's medical staff say this is a truly unique story. This family's story is a perfect example, proving that a parent's love is the most mysterious and still inexplicable feeling in the world. It is so mysterious that not everyone can understand its meaning and its essence. This boundless love is so strong and powerful that sometimes it works wonders. So, friends, what do you think? There is really something that science cannot explain, something that might bring us back to the other side. If you've made it this far, let us know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Special Stories HistoryFlix channel. Thanks for watching.